Welcome everyone to Overcome Podcast. In today's episode, I'd like to welcome a judoka joining all the way from Peru to talk to us about his career, some of the things that are going on in his career, some of the setbacks, and how he plans to overcome. Alonso, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. So, Alonso, to set the stage, tell a little bit us about this judo journey and career that you had so far. Some of the highlights of your career.
Well, I started judo when I was 5 years old. When I was a child,
Wow.
um, my dad introduced me to judo because I was um, a child with a lot of energies in school. For me, it was extremely hard to pay attention to any of my classes during my kindergarten years, and my parents took me to the psychologist to see if something was going on with me. Something mental happened to me at that time. But they said I was a pretty cool kid that I that need at that time a martial art sport. So he introduced me to karate, taekwondo, wrestling, and judo. But I like judo the most. Besides, I started judo with my cousin. At that time, we were very, very close. He was like my brother at that time, and that's how I started judo. And I started to win competitions since I was a white belt, and I decided to stay there forever.
Nice. Very cool.
Um, well, my first Pan American Championships that I took first was in 2004 when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
It was an infantile Pan American Championships, and that tournament was the moment for me to decide to pursue my judo career until now. Now I want to become an Olympic medalist, world medalist, Pan American medalist, and compete representing Peru for the next years. And that's how I started judo.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And throughout all those years competing, do you believe that right now, with your injury, is probably one of the most difficult moments, or have you had any experience with a big injury in the past?
I had three injuries before this one. This one was the worst injury that I ever had because I required an surgery intervention. But well, in London Olympics, I tore my meniscus of my right knee
Ooh.
while I like couple days before the competition while I was training, getting ready to compete, making weight because in judo we have to make weight all the time. So I was training with the Cuban team, and the 100 kilos fell on my knee. That was the first one. The second one was in 2013, the year after, at the final of the Pan American Junior tournament. I went for a soda, and unfortunately, my elbow pumped up right away.
Ooh.
But I continued to fight until the end. Um, the third one was when I tore my hamstring in the Grand Prix in Cancun in 2018, fighting for bronze against another Brazilian, Contini.
Mhm.
I was beating him easily, not easily, but he was a pretty tough opponent. Mm, and I went to commit a drop seoi, and unfortunately, I tore my hamstring on my way up front bottom. And this one was the worst, but definitely the last injury that I have in my race was the worst. Because because of that injury, I couldn't continue my Olympic journey to Paris 24, and it was a pretty bad, pretty bad
What
injury.
happened with your wrist? How did it took place? It was during training. It was what were you doing?
No, it was during competition. I was fighting in the Open Continental event in Ecuador. last year. In semifinal, I beat the Brazilian in my first match, and then I went to because I have forfeit the first match, and then I beat the Brazilian. And semifinals, I fought against the Colombian, who I already beat like 3 times before. I went for a drop CO, and well, he refused to take the fall, and he grabbed my forearm on the way down, but I refused to give it the grip up, and then I just continue until the end, and I felt like a noise on my wrist, like a pump right away. So it was pretty painful right away, but I decided to continue because I didn't want to lose. It was in semifinals. One more match and I'll be on the final, and I want to make the final as crazy because I had a lot of problems in my national team, and I wanted to win a medal. Um, to make myself relaxing because I was extremely frustrating and stressful. Um, but unfortunately, as soon as I was yelling out at the moment, the referee asked me if I want to continue. I say yes, I can go. But as soon as I put my grip back on the lapel and I squeezed it as hard as I could, I started yell out right away again because I couldn't resist the pain.
Oh
Even
wow.
though I continue 1 more minute, but all the ligaments and the joint, not the joints and the ligament break it up in pieces.
So that's what happened. You basically ruptured the ligaments of the wrist.
Yeah, and the carpal bone was broken. So I got the surgery 2 weeks after the, the injury. As soon as I get back to Peru, and I was out for 6 months, maybe less, but I was just doing rehab, training, having light practices, not doing too much, but just recovering my shape, my condition, my strength, my endurance.
Hmm.
Because I wanted to compete again in March, um, and start to make the Olympic points for Paris 24. Unfortunately, in the like in 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago, while I was training and recovering from my injury, and when I was doing randori, I went for a Joko Tominagi uh, while wheel throw. It's a sacrifice
Yeah.
throw. I don't know if you know that
Yeah.
technique.
I do.
Joko Tominagi. Yeah, well, um, in Randori, and my teammate refused to take the fall, and he fall straight on my wrist because I'm left-handed. This one is the one that is broken right
Hmm.
now. So if you can see right here is the carpal one. The carpal bone is out. So my wrist went this way,
Oh
but
wow.
really
It
hard,
was almost
really
like
bad.
a wrist lock.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was. But even though I taped my wrist, I since I got the injury, I had to train with with tape all the time, and I was warm, I was excited, competing, training again, be back on the mat. So that was on Monday, February 5th, and I didn't feel a lot of pain. The pain was like for 10 seconds, and then I continued to do randori with the rest of my teammates. And as soon as I was training, recovering, doing my exercises to recover the strength of my power hand, I spoke to the physiotherapist, telling him that I had a little bit of pain. But I thought it was because I was increasing the level of the
Right.
practices. But and I did randori Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until Friday morning when I decided to go to the doctor again. And well, he made me had a MRI, uh, X-rays again, and he told me that well, the carpal bone was out of the place once again,
Oh
and I
wow.
required again. So that unfortunately makes me be out of the Olympic journey this year. It was extremely painful for me. I was um, numb. out of my life for a couple of days. I also require psychologist intervention as well because I was extremely frustrated because of what happened to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to take a huge risk when you have some an important event coming up. You know,
Hmm.
this year is the Olympics, and as I was getting ready, preparing myself to compete again in international level competitions, and it took me like 6 months, 7 months to be back on the mat, and I couldn't wait for more. But the doctor had mentioned that I might probably require at least a year because for me, the risk is like for a soccer player, the ankle
Right.
or the soccer player's foot without an ankle or foot, soccer player is not able to kick the ball.
Right.
Even for me, especially for my judo style because I'm left-handed, and I do a lot of shoulder throws. I do drop seoi, sore sore komigoshi. I can do ippon seoi, but this movement, the wrist rotation, is something that it bothers me a lot. Right now, I can do it even with the wrist broken. Right now, it's not broken; it's dislocated now. But it might require an intervention again.
So
And
you don't know if you're gonna have to have another surgery or not?
no, yeah, I do. The doctor already mentioned that I really need a surgery to replace or to put the carpal bone on the right place again.
Eh,
It's no, but it actually is dislocated. It's dislocated. It's not broken like it was 7 months ago. But still, he needs to fix some things going some joints that they kind of tore each other
mhm.
inside the wrist.
And
So
the doctor told you that this took place again because you kind of rush up to train and you needed more time to heal. Is that probably the cause of this?
yeah, it was probably that's what happens. He wanted me to stay a little bit longer on rehab, but the physiotherapists of the national team didn't want me to continue that process. They want me to start the training to be able to compete again.
Now,
And actually,
and
to be honest, I wanted to be back on the
of
mat as soon
course,
as
yeah,
possible
yeah.
as well.
Now, you mentioned something extremely important, and is something that a lot of athletes they struggle with, which is the mental aspect of dealing with injuries and dealing with time off the mats. For example, in your case, is very it takes a toll, right? Because this is what you do, this is what you love doing it. How was this mental rehab for you?
For well, like I say, for me, it was extremely tough. I'm still working with my psychologist because it was a very painful and frustrating seeing a moment that I'm having right now in my life because I devoted my whole life to judo. I I separate my personal life, my academic stuff, my professional life as well um, on the to the next door because I pay attention my whole life to judo. So without judo, I feel like I fall from the 14th floor or maybe from the top floor of the twin tower to the bottom,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to come up and get up right away. So
Yeah,
that's why
it's a
having a
it's
time tough.
a it's a journey to be able to adjust because it's almost like you lost your identity. You don't know what to do. What I'm doing now, right?
And I'm seeing other examples of injuries as well because they wanted to fight, they wanted to compete right away, started making points for the Olympics or for any other important tournament. Like for example, I have two teammates that they tore their ligaments on the knee, the LCL and the and on their meniscus, and they came out to the mat right away in less than 6 months, and they re-injury again.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't, they couldn't resist the pace like it happened to me. It's because sometimes, yeah, for example, in Peru we do have um, a fundraiser or economic support from the government if you represent your nation. But if you don't have results in 6 months, the government can take you out that money out of, you know
Hmm.
from you. So it's a big push that
Yeah. There's a lot of
you
pressure.
have.
There's a lot of pressure.
Totally. And I do had it. I well not anymore, but I had sponsors as well. And you have to sign a contract
Yeah.
saying if you don't have results in 6 months, the sponsor give up from you.
Hmm.
And so it's an extremely big pressure that you have. So mentally you have to be prepared as well.
Yeah. So now that you are going through this process, is the second time around, you're already out for 6 months. Now you have this problem again. Are you dealing with this a little bit better than you were at the first time?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like I decide to build up my own judo academy, not just my judo academy but my martial arts
Hmm.
academy, not just focus in judo, in wrestling as well, because I wrestled in high school, and karate and jiu-jitsu. Those sports are extremely popular in my country too. um, um, Pay attention in my professional life too, because I studied to be a physical education teacher.
Oh,
I
nice.
like to teach. I like to teach, and as soon as I get the surgery, as soon as I'll be back from the surgery, I will probably come back to America and start working in high school, teaching the kids physical education,
Oh, okay.
which is actually something important to me. In the future, I'm training and working on my process to be a certificate coach, to be in the future a national team coach, which is actually one of my other goals, to be an Olympic coach as well. I'm bringing my own kids to the Olympics in the future.
Yeah.
Uh, be with my family, trying to stay busy in something else. Like I say, I devoted my whole life to judo, and as soon as the judo was gone, for me it was nothing to do with nothing else I can do with my life. And it's not judo. I have to think. Well, like I say, I was working with my psychologist, saying that I'm not just a judo player. I'm a person
Hmm.
who can do more things
Yeah,
in
and you
his.
can still chase your Olympic dream, but in a different capacity, right? Because as you said, now you can start working as a coach, and perhaps one day you're gonna be at the Olympics as a coach, which is a great fulfillment as well.
Yeah, and totally. And I'm not saying that I'm retired. I'm saying that I'm taking care of myself for a bit. Probably this year I'm gonna taking care of myself on my professional life, on my personal life, and next year on 2026 come back to the high level competitions again and be able to compete in LA Olympics in 2028.
Okay,
So
that's
I'm
good. You
I
you
feel
still
like I'm
you're
young,
still
but
you're still gonna try to make it. That's great.
yeah, I'm still. I feel myself young. The only hurdle that I have right now in my life is my wrist. But as soon as I recover, if as soon as I had 100% recovery, I would probably come back. I'll be always. Oh, I will be always a judo player. Even if I'm 70 years old, I'm still be on the mat. I want I want my kids to do judo as
Yeah.
well. I want my grandsons or granddaughters.
Now
I'll be on the
you've been doing judo for so long and competing for so long. Do you feel that with age you are starting to see more injuries? Do you believe it's because of age, or because you are exposing yourself more? Um, in other words, you probably didn't have that much injuries when you were like on your 20s. So, do you think that age make you a little bit more vulnerable to this type of injuries?
Probably if you don't eat well, if you don't rest well, high level sports, there's always a risk in high level sports, always, because you're pushing yourself more than you can do. It's not like a regular person who can go to the gym and train 3 times per week, and if you feel sore, you quit for a couple of days and then you continue. In the high level sport, if even if you're sore, you have to keep training
Mm-hmm.
because you're pretty much your judo or your any sport that you do professional is your job,
Yeah.
and you have to keep pushing yourself hard. And it happens. You always be on the risk of having injuries. Not even if you're old or it's from the 20s. Like I say, my first big injury was in London Olympics, and I was 19 at that time.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I healed up really quickly. In 3 months, I was back on the mat.
And that's where age counts, right? And
So the thing, yeah,
that's
yeah,
where age
that's
counts.
what I want
Yeah.
to go for. Yeah, that's for example for me right now. I'm 30. My recovery is not the same as it was when I was 19 or 20 years old. Probably will take more time to heal. That's why I'm decide to take this year off. Not completely off, but trying to recover my body and come back when in the right time.
That's nice. I think that that's a very smart way to look at it, and try to use this time not only to do other things that are judo related, but invest in yourself, invest in your career as a coach, as a professor. These are things that can contribute overall. And then when you feel your body is fully healed and ready, then you go 100%. Is better than try to skip steps.
Totally, totally, absolutely.
So for your weight division, right? In the Olympics, for example, do you see judo players above 30 that are still competing in a high level?
Well, the Japanese Hashimoto is about to be 33 years old. The Georgian will be 32. Oh, he's already 32 years old. There's a few players in my weight class, yeah, and it's a lightweight. I'm 73 kilograms. It's a lightweight, 160 pounds. It's a lightweight category. So it depends. And well, there's another example. The guy Umbari from Hungary, he retired at 40 years of
Oh
age,
wow!
and he was a Olympic medalist too. And I fought against him many times. We trained together in different training camps around the world as well. And he had a lot of energies. It depends how you eat, how you train. Like as soon as you're becoming older, you have to be smart. You have to train less, but with quality, not with quantity. Quantity is when you're young, but with quality is the right time when you're old to know how to train.
Now, when you
Um,
say training with quality, because right prior to your injury, you were doing randori almost every day. Isn't
yeah,
that too much? Don't you like take a break like 3 days a week, randoris, and then uchikomis in between or techniques in between? Because randori every day is pretty tough on the body, right?
yeah, oh, yeah, of course. It depends. Well, in my country, unfortunately, there's not a lot of like good level. So for me, it's like just doing warming up or pretty. I can control my pace on the randori with the kid with but not with the kids because they're not kids anymore. But the level that I had with my teammates level, my weight class division, it's a big difference. But if I'm speaking, to go to Europe or go to Brazil, for example, I used to do eight rounds of randori or 10 rounds of randori of 4 minutes each. This time have to be at least a half. If there's a 10 randoris per night, I would probably do five. If there's eight, I would probably do four. See, it depends how my body feels.
Yeah. No, that's very important because, as you said, if you want to look for quality, and not quantity. You really have to pick and choose your training partners, challenge yourself, but also take a break, right? That way you can pace yourself more.
Yeah, quantity is when you're young, like I say, and you have to clean your own techniques. But at my age, I don't need to clean my own techniques anymore because I'm clear. All my techniques are here in my mind
Mhm.
already. I don't have nothing else to learn in judo. I just have to be smart and train with quality. That's what I decide to do from now on.
Because you already have your game plan, you have the throws that you feel like you are better. Now, one question that is interesting to me, because a lot of people do that actually when they injury one leg or when they injury one arm, they sometimes they change their instance. I've seen many times people that are right hand and they injure the right hand, they change left hand. Have you ever tried to change?
Um, yeah, I had, but it's very difficult, especially when you're fighting against a guy from your on your same level. You have to have your own plan, your own stand. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm having hard times since I injured my wrist. I'm having hard times to attack with my drop seoi or surikomigoshi from both the sleeps. Those are my favorite techniques, my power techniques. But I'm working in different, like with different kind of grips. See, for example, I used to go inside. Now I have to go outside.
Right.
But now I'm doing more standing ippon seoi. I'm doing uchimara, joko tomoe nage, kochigari. The good thing about me is that I'm extremely talented. I'm not because I'm just saying it. I say that because my coaches, my family, and also my teammates or rivals had told me before that I'm able to throw with different techniques, not just seoi drop seoi or sode. I have different techniques that I can use, but I have to change I had to change my plan
Mm-hmm.
on on competitions because my wrist.
Yeah, because if you go outside, probably the pain will be much less, right? Instead of going inside.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally. For example, I used to do my drop soinage from here, one lapel, one sleeve, but now I do the crossing grip from one sleeve and one lapel from the same side. So it wouldn't be more less. It would be less pain.
hmm
I say.
Yeah. And and besides those two main techniques, what is the other go-to for you right now? Ogoshi, Haraigoshi, any one of those?
I like Uchimata. I a lot of people with Uchimata. Yoko Tomoinage, which is another favorite for me. Kochimaki Komi. Iponzeoi for the right side. I can do like this movement. My wrist. What it hurts is the rotations,
Yes. Yes.
and that's what I need in my drop seoi
Yeah.
rotation. But for the rest of the techniques, I'm allowed to do it. I can do ogoshi, kochiguruma, but I don't really like to go over the top, over the collar, because some of my rivals are taller than me. But I'm extremely good in shoulder throws.
Mm.
Why I like to go on the lapels. I can do sode for the opposite side. Um, well, I'm working on my foot sweeps as well. I don't really like a lot of foot sweeps, but it happens
Yeah.
sometimes. I have the opportunity to do a foot sweat, and I do it.
Now, right now, you are not. At least I assume that you are not really training judo right now,
Mm.
but you are still keeping up a routine of working out and the diet. Yeah, are you keeping yourself, healthy and active?
Yeah, I'm still like I said, I'm still talking with a nutritionist. I don't because I don't want to be fat. I want to keep my weight down between 76, 77 at least, but I'm not above 78 kilograms. I'm still working working on the gym. I'm just core strength, leg leg training, leg training, but not too much above my my body
Hmm.
because to hold a bar it's extremely difficult for me right
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not allowed to do bench press or power clean, but I do squats. For example, I can do squats,
Do
but
you
that's
already
it.
have a date where which you're going to have the surgery and you know already?
It will be between March 20 and the 25th of this month because it's a long process. Here in Peru, it's a long process. It's, um, because as soon as I got the insurance back on me, you have to go through the national team. The national team have to accept it and then send it to the sports ministers and then come back to me
And when are you planning to go to come back to the United States?
as soon as I get the surgery because I want to do my rehab over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Right
I'm
now,
here in Texas. So
are you a
no,
physiotherapist?
I'm not.
Well, if you know someone good, just let me know,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. No, there is plenty of good ones here in Texas, and I had so many injuries as well that I know a lot of. I broke my foot, I ruptured my triceps, so I've been for the past 3 years. I've been in a lot of physical therapists, and most of the injuries were on the mats as well. Actually, all of them were on the mats.
Judo is tough.
Yeah,
Judo is extremely tough. It's painful,
no, it is,
to
and
be
it
honest.
is even tougher for people that started judo after 40s. I started after 40s, so to me, is my body is not used to the fall. My body is still not used to some of the movements. There are things that I cannot do because my body just doesn't do after 40s. So I
Mm,
try to adapt. I love the game. I'm learning, but there
yeah,
are things that is really hard for me to do. Drop any drop is hard because my knees are just not good to
yeah,
keep dropping. So it's complicated.
yeah. Well, yeah, I know it's tough.
And you are a big drop guy. I've seen a lot of videos from you winning with the drop, say morote, drop morote. I mean, you do a lot of drops.
Yeah, that's why I do have hip impingement. A little pain on my hip, on my right hip, and it requires surgery as well.
Oh, really?
But but I learned how to live without it, with that pain on my
And
hip.
you believe it's
It's
because of the
fun.
drops?
I think so. It probably will be for many years. I'm doing judo.
Yeah,
It happens.
yeah.
It's like the years, For many times, you're pulling yourself, fighting against your opponent like bulls, head to head, and it, you had a cultural over
Yeah,
here. It's
yeah,
part of the
and it's
job.
more is very common also in jiu-jitsu players.
Yeah,
Talking
totally.
about jiu-jitsu, do you do a lot of newaza?
I'm not really good. I'm not a fan of Newaza, but I do have a couple turnovers. I like Newaza. I like turnovers or psychomies. Um, I'm not really good in arm locks, but I can do it. I can do the urigarami or the jujigatami. It depends the situation of the moment of the fight. Um, for I do have some chokes as well for a false
Mm-hmm.
attack. Do the Okuri Jime or Kashi Jime. But I like to throw. I'm a thrower guy.
But you also practice jiu-jitsu, right?
Sometimes, uh, when it's actually the moment to learn, I can do it. I've been training jujitsu. The thing is that I'm having hard times to move my hips because the injury that I had mentioned before while I'm doing jujitsu and being on my knees all the time on the mat, it caused me a little pain.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't really like to be on the mat all the
Well,
time.
I'm asking this because one thing that I've seen recently in all those IJF words, IJF words, and also all the Grand Slams, is that there is a lot of fights nowadays that are finishing on the ground. So it feels like a lot of the players they are doing more Newaza, because in the past it was really pure throw, but
Yeah,
now they are really going after Newaza.
yeah. Like I say, I like turnovers. I really like turnovers. I like to finish the match on Mos Haikomi, for example.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, so after the surgery, you're probably gonna come to US for your rehab, and then you're gonna continue with, as you said, gonna work on your certification and all that. And then probably 2025 is the year that you are going to pick up and start training and perhaps start doing some international competitions, right?
Yeah. Well, as soon as I feel better, I will probably gonna start over again. Like having live practices like I used to have when I was in Denver. Big. Um, and when it's the right time, when I have uh, the access by the doctor or the medical staff to do something else, I will probably gonna do it. But I would, like I said, maybe in the end of 2025, I will start to compete again.
Are you
Hopefully.
planning when you come to US? Are you planning to do any clinic or seminar or something like that?
Yeah, I would love to. I was really close to do one in California 2 years ago, but unfortunately, the national team, the president of my national team, didn't want me to do it. Didn't want me to go because if I was on the team, I wasn't able to have the permission to go to California and do my own clinic.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, they would probably take me out to the next event that I had. So I had to say sorry. And I felt really bad with that gym because I know in that gym or in that dojo, they love me so much. I have a lot of friends over there.
Well, maybe,
But I will probably gonna do it.
yeah, maybe when you're here, you can think about some seminars and or clinics. It'll be very nice. The judo community here in Texas is really big, so here's a really good place for you to do some clinics.
Yeah, I would love to. I will totally. I would love to do it. Right now in Denver, the level is not that high, but I'm working on that with Denver Judo because I train in Denver Judo and Northland Judo as well. They're working a lot in kids because there's not a lot of adults. But I would probably I'm going to California or Texas to train again because I used to train in Florida at Kitsusai because I have a lot of friends there. I was training for the Tokyo Olympics there when the pandemic started. We were training there, with closed doors around us.
Did you,
But
when you were in Florida, did you train with Sasaki?
no, I didn't not had the opportunity to train with Sasaki
Yeah.
yet. I would love to. I would love to meet him. I know he does a lot of shoulder throws
Yeah,
too.
no, I trained with him a couple of years ago. I went to Florida and spent the whole day with him. He is fantastic. He is really good.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, I was in Kitsusai, Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you had heard about that dojo before.
I heard about.
Kitsusai.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was there for a while until Tokyo Olympics.
which was prior to the pandemic, right? In 2019.
Yeah,
So
that was on the pandemic already. It was between June, July, no, August until February 2021. But I compete before. I my first competition right after pandemic was in October
okay.
when I qualified to Tokyo at that time.
Alonso, I just want to say thanks for you to taking the time to record this. I really wish you all the best on your surgery and your recovery. Keep your spirit high, keep engaged. I understand that it's tough being put away from what you love to do. It
Mhm.
happens, but it happens with high profile players, right? And as you said, when you are cutting edge and trying to improve, there is always a risk, and all athletes they are willing to take that risk to get better on their own game. So just stay with your head clean, and I'm pretty sure that you are going to come back better and stronger for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, my friend. Stay safe, and thanks again for your participation. Right.
Thank you. Thanks to you.
All right, everyone. That's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks again for your audience, and see you again next time.